7 1/4. It's going to indicate our midway spot. Alright, so we're using M8 bolts, 30 millimeters long. May need a washer. You might be able to get away with 25s. We're going to go with this, just so that we can get all those threads into that vibration resistant mount. Alright, so these are ready to mount in. Make sure they're not cross-threaded. Alright, that one feels good. That one's lining up well. I've got to get that 4th bolt. Let me go ahead and put these in. Got washers here. 13. Let's run these down first, and then we'll put our wiring back in. What I'm tightening down actually connects into that as well. So not only do we have the motor mount connections, but we've got these just for an added level of safety. So let's go ahead and put that ignition on, spark plug, just to get it out of the way. Give that a little bit of slack so it's not pulling. Make sure that's in there, that it's protected. Let's run that. I'll tighten that down in just a minute. So I took that throttle cable because it kind of was in a weird bind, and I think this will take a lot of that stress off of it. It won't be so bound up. Alright, that feels pretty good. Let's get it past that, and then I can slide the other one on behind. Just going to thread it down so it doesn't. Let's get that one on. If I can get these close enough, it should prevent it from jumping out of that. But I may put a little piece of wire on there like I. Oh, that will. If I can get that sucker tightened down. It looks like it'll get full throttle. Let's go ahead. So as that cinches down, I'm going to put that around the choke. Before I cinch that down, I'm going to bring that to a certain height. And I'm just going to run that down. So that's about as far as I want it to go. All right, that's going to be good. Now let's see if that's going to work the way I want it. Yeah, so I need to keep the rope down here towards the end. That's the reason I used wire, because I was afraid a tie down would cinch up over time. So what I want to do now is just kind of squeeze this from each side to make it as long as possible, so I know it won't slide off the end if it gets stretched. But I don't. And it's probably a good thing that I angle it, because it's going to be pulled kind of upward. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, let's clip it on here because we're going to hang right around this point. So when I fly, if I move around, it won't pull it. But if I need to, I can pull it there. There we go. And that should allow me some extra cordage if I need to adjust. Got a lot going on in that space. Stretch that spring out. fix that. All right. Oh yeah. Let's see if anything's gonna interfere with the throttle. Nope, doesn't look like it. I'm just gonna attach that there for now. I may make a little attachment point so when the harness is off, I have something to attach it to. If I do forget to install it in my harness, it's still gonna be attached to that frame, so I can get to it some way. I'll kind of keep it out of the way for now. All right, before I go too far, go ahead and hook up the battery. Let me make sure the choke's off. This engine has been used before, so it could potentially crank. But I just want to make sure I've got everything hooked up right before I go much further. Oh yeah. All right, good. Let's go ahead and unhook that. So we've got 1 3/4 inches on that side. Same thing on this side. These have been drilled out. These wing nuts, so I can tie them down with this one on first. Put the washer on. Put our swing arm on. Washers, lock washer. What I'll do is unthread this one on my left and use this one right here on my right. Kind of pull that one back through until these are even on both sides. All right, I'm not going to wire these down yet, but I would run wire through and tie it through that hole like you saw in my other video. You want to see and make sure there's plenty of clearance for the gas tank. And so now I can put a much larger gas tank in here and still have it fair. I'm not going to install this yet because I'm going to have to flip this around. I did need the engine installed to make sure the hoop wasn't going to come anywhere in contact with the prop.